Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ritter, and I'm here kicking it with first-year head coach Isaac Collins, Widener University Football. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. How are you today?
I'm doing outstanding. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, no problem, Coach. Let's start off the show by helping the viewers get to know you a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got here at Widener University?
Well, I mean, my background, has been pretty much welded in the Northeast. I've coached at schools like Hobart College in upstate New York. I coached at Columbia University. I coached at Lehigh University, not too far from here. I coached at University of Delaware, right down the street. But I'm most recently coming from the Citadel. And in terms of my travels to get here, it really was a good friend of mine that coached high school ball in this area. Called me when this position opened. Spoke very highly of the program. I knew of Widener's tradition and its history. Obviously very familiar with the recruiting area, so certainly it got me excited about an opportunity to come back to this area where I got family, as well as an area that I was familiar with recruiting-wise. So it happened, I was at the national convention interviewing some candidates for a defensive line position that I had open, and the phone rang, and it was a search firm that was conducting the search for Widener Football, and really the rest is kind of history. I kind of hit it off real well with the search firm. They brought me in. I got a chance to meet VP, Joe Baker, and our athletic director, Jack Schaefer. Developed a really good relationship in the very first meeting, and everything else kind of rolled in place from there.
Now, coming from a well-respected Division I program such as the Citadel, what will you bring with you that will be beneficial towards you with your first head coaching job?
I think as a new head football coach and as a young head football coach, I don't know if you necessarily bring from one place. I kind of picked from different baskets, and I think as I've set up this model for us to kind of build for future successes, I've took a little bit from every place. But if I had to pick something from the Citadel, obviously it being a military college, right off the bat, the discipline is something that's been very important to me throughout my coaching career, something that I was able to kind of fine-tune while I was at the Citadel, and being a part of that rich tradition down there, and the respect and the honor that institution and the football program had. Certainly those are things that I would say immediately would be things that people would notice. In fact, some of the players thought a little bit of military when they first met me. So.
Now, you and your staff are taking over a Widener team that started the season off 3-1 last year and failed to win another game and ended the season at 3-7. Returning 24 seniors from last year's squad, along with a cast of young rising talent, what are your expectations for the 2010 season?
Well, I think, the big thing is, as we've been discussing all along, is about the process. For us, it's really about growing off the field first. I think we'll be successful on the football field as we grow up off the field, and that's, going to class, being good citizens, doing the little things on a day-to-day basis will allow us to be successful at football. I think if we look at it as just about football, if we look at it as just about the things that we're doing on Saturdays or doing in practice, we're going to miss the boat. Our number one mission as a staff and as a program is we want to develop the young men that are in our program. We want to give them something that they're going to be able to take with them for the rest of their lives. But more importantly, we want to make sure that we're making the Widener community, the Widener alumni, and our administration very proud of who we are and what we're doing. So in terms of expectation, the expectation is that by the end of the season, the product that we want to see on the field is a bunch of young men that have done all the little things off the field, a bunch of young men that are detailed-oriented in the little things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. We'll like the final product, believe me, if we're able to do those things off the field. So in terms of expectation, we'll never put a win-loss on it, because to me, I think the wins will come. We got to start winning battles off the field. We got to make sure we're doing the little things off the field, little things in practice, and they'll carry over to the games.
Now, we opened up last Saturday in upstate New York against Alfred University. It was a 6-hour bus trip to face the national playoff team from last year, which is no easy way to kick off the season. The result was a 37-0 loss. The offense didn't play up to their potential, neither did the defense. But what do you think were some of the key factors that played into that loss last Saturday?
I think there was a combination. I think, one, it was the youth that we had, there's no doubt, because not only some of the upperclassmen, this was a lot of those upperclassmen, their first time actually playing. I think the freshmen were, definitely the speed of the game, kind of caught them off guard a little bit, because you really can't simulate that in practice. And then I think the core, of the team, the seniors, wanted it so bad. They want so much to kind of build on the tradition and the legacy here that I think we pressed a little bit. And I think it caused us to make mistakes that we hadn't been making. It caused us to kind of fall behind versus a very good football team early on. So in terms of just as we broke down the film and even just kind of living it for the day, that was the one thing that I could point to, was that I don't think we were at our best because there were so many other things that were going into it. There were so many other things that kind of distracted us a little bit, and certainly things that we got to get corrected for the future.
Now note that each team in the MAC conference also started off the season 0-1 last week, minus 10th ranked Delaware Valley and 2 teams that had a bye week. So not just everybody, but the whole campus is buzzing about the home opener this Saturday at Quick Stadium for the Pride. We'll be squaring off against Thiel University, who comes in from Western Pennsylvania, and they're started the season 0-1 as well. What are your expectations for this upcoming game, and how do you think the Pride match up against Thiel?
I think it's funny because it's like looking in the mirror. I mean, they were picked 6th in their conference. They got 2 freshman quarterbacks that they're playing. They made a lot of young mistakes, late in the 4th quarter that cost them that ball game. So ultimately, I think, for both teams coming in, there's going to be a lot of similarities. They struggled the last couple of seasons in terms of wins, losses. They're going to be clawing, scratching, trying to find a way to win this football game on Saturday, just as we will. So I think it should be an exciting and fun game. And I think the team that's going to win is going to be the team that can limit the mistakes and make corrections from last week. So our hope is that during the course of this week of practice, we can clean up on some of the things that we didn't do a good job of. We can be a little bit stouter down in the red zone defensively, and we can take care of the ball a little bit better as an offense.
Now, being the defensive coordinator, what's going to be your defensive game plan heading into this week?
Well, this might be nationally sent, so I'll have to limit a little bit. But ultimately, for us defensively, there's no doubt that our goal is we want to be disruptive. We got to find a way to create some turnovers. There's no doubt when I look at our defense, and even on Saturday at times, we played at a level that I think is capable of helping us be successful. So we want to find a way to disrupt. They got young quarterbacks. We got to find a way to get to them, whether it's with pressure, whether it's with our 4-down, whether it's with changing coverages. We got to find a way to confuse this young man and hopefully get them to turn the ball over as they did a week ago against Marietta, which will allow us to be able to give our offense some short fields and give them an opportunity to be successful and jump out to a fast start.
The week of practice has started off great so far. You got a lot of guys out there working hard. Do you feel like there's a sense of urgency to get back out there and to fix them mistakes from Alfred and get this ball rolling this Saturday against Thiel?
I think it is. I mean, we've had 2 good days so far. The guys have definitely been focused on what we're trying to get accomplished. I think guys, after watching the film, feel the same way as we do as coaches, that, we let one get away, and not to take anything away from Alfred. They're an outstanding football team. They're going to win a bunch of games, but certainly from our perspective, we walked away saying we don't think that we were 37 points worse than Alfred University. So that's in the past. So we got to just continue to focus on the process. We got to continue to do the things we did in practice the last couple of days of guys focusing on their assignments and making sure that we don't make the same mistakes. And typically all over the country, from week 1 to week 2, that's when you make your biggest strides. And our hope is that we can do the same here. And if we're able to do that, I think we'll be fine going into this game this weekend.
Now, how do you think the seniors are responding to this? Do you think they're picking up the young guys and showing their leadership skills and helping everybody carry along and not let anybody get down, such as defensive player, All-American Joe Favinger? You think he's getting that defense going and the offensive side as well? There's
no doubt. Watching them run around in practice the last couple of days, I mean, we didn't miss a heartbeat. I mean, I think the guys really know that what we're capable of doing. And Saturday was really kind of a mixed bag of unfortunate incidents, with turnovers, with short fields, those types of things. So I think defensively they understand, as we've been preaching to them, we got to create an environment just like Alfred University defense did a week ago, where we're getting the offense a short field, we're getting them the football, and we're getting off the field on 3rd down. And looking at the stuff that we did from a coverage standpoint, a couple of wrinkles we put in, the guys really were kind of chomping at the bit, and you could see them pulling the younger guys along and trying to get them to understand the big picture. And I think for all the seniors, they all know that, hey, this is kind of the last stand. And we don't want to make it, hey, the world's coming to an end, but we do have to have a sense of urgency, and you can definitely see that in the first 2 days of practice this week.
Now, your whole staff this year is new. You got coaches from Hofstra, from Appalachian State, from Lehigh University, Central Connecticut. How have they came into Widener University, and how are they adjusting to all the new things that are taking place here?
I think well. I mean, I really do. I think that, from our standpoint, it's really important that everyone understands that what we're trying to get accomplished is that it's about building blocks. And when I say building blocks, it's not about rebuilding. It's about each day kind of laying a brick, and I think as a coaching staff, they're learning a lot about the institution. They're learning a lot of things about our football team that I think as we go on, we will get better. There's no doubt that there's a learning curve, for all these guys coming from different backgrounds, but that's no different anywhere in the country. Notre Dame's going through the same thing, so when we look at it from our perspective, I think that we're right on course, or right on pace where I expected us to be as a coaching staff, and certainly from a football standpoint, a play or two here or there in the game, I would say that we would probably be right on track there as well.
Okay. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. Coach, there's no doubt that this team has the talent and the player-coach relationships that it takes to win a MAC championship. So we're just going to keep our eye on the prize and hope that this thing gets rolling this Saturday against Steele. Make sure you don't miss the Pride season opener this Saturday at home at the Lions Den, 1 o'clock sharp. Don't be late. Coach Collins, I appreciate it again. Thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you guys next week on Kicking It with Coach. I'm Ritter.